Fire watch or fire guard daily record example. Building address. Fire watch, fire guard record. Date, C of F holder's name. Signature, C of F, exp date. Directions. As the fire guard, you are required to make hourly inspections and to record the result of your inspections on this log. Put OK for items that are satisfactory, X for items that are unsatisfactory, and NA for items that are not applicable. Provide a description of unsatisfactory items in the comments section and bring them to the attention of the responsible person. Print your name and sign the log at the end of your shift. Time. Exits and stairways. Ensure exits and stairways are not blocked. Exit. Doors or gates are free of locks. Self-closing. Doors are not open. There is a lot of lighting in exit corridors. Potential ignition sources. Look for arcing or exposed electrical wiring. Trash accumulation. Ensure that corridors are free of debris and rubbish. No smoking. Ensure no smoking is enforced in the affected areas. Fire alarm pull stations should be inspected for damage. Fire extinguisher. Fire extinguishers should be in their designated areas. Standpipe and sprinkler system. Inspect for breaks, leaks, and damage. Ensure that there is no blockade in the FDNY connections and fire hydrants. Comments. 1.4 Fire Department Notification and Emergency Procedures. 1.4.1 Fire Department Notification for Impairment. The department shall be notified that a standpipe system, sprinkler system, or fire alarm system is out of service, whether by reason of a planned removal from service or an unplanned out-of-service condition. 1. Standpipe systems. Notification shall be made to the department whenever a standpipe system is or will be out of service for any period of time. 2. Sprinkler systems and fire alarm systems. Notification that a sprinkler system or fire alarm system or any part thereof is or will be out of service shall be made to the department under the following circumstances. The sprinkler system or fire alarm system is or will be out of service on more than one floor of a building, or, with respect to a sprinkler system, the work or repairs cannot be completed and the system restored to service within 8 hours of the time the system was placed or went out of service, or, with respect to a fire alarm system, the work or repairs will require the fire alarm system to be out of service for more than 8 hours in any 24-hour period, or one or more other fire protection systems in the area in which a fire protection system is out of service are or will also be out of service at the same time. The general information non-emergency numbers that should be used for notifications are listed below. The impairment coordinator must be able to give the following information: the owner or impairment coordinator's name and contact information, the building address, the type of fire protection system that is out of service, whether the out of service is planned or unplanned, if a planned removal from service, the date and time the fire protection system will be placed out of service, and the estimated duration the system will be out of service. If an unplanned out of service condition, the estimated duration the system will be out of service. The floors or areas in which the fire protection system is out of service. If the other fire protection systems are in good working order, the name and certificate number of the certificate of fitness holder responsible for supervision of the fire protection system that is out of service. 1.4.2 Emergency Notification and Procedures. Fire guards must have a method of connecting to emergency services. Fire guards can use cell phones to make notifications. They must ensure that there is enough battery power to cover their shift. Notifying by phone is the most direct and effective way to notify the fire department. If a fire guard becomes aware of a fire, he or she must immediately call 911 and report the emergency. There must be no delays in making such notification. The fire department may also be notified using a street fire alarm pull station. Guards must also immediately notify on-site responsible personnel of the emergency, but only after calling 911. The responsible person will give directions to the guard. Guards must follow those instructions. For example, the FLSD may instruct the guard on the safest evacuation route from the building. Guards must also sound the fire alarm pull station where available to alert the occupants. When notifying 911 of a fire or other emergency, the call taker will need to obtain information about the emergency. The nature of the emergency and address are the most critical pieces of information. The operator may also ask what the nearest cross street is, and if anyone is in need of medical attention, and if so, what are their symptoms. If you're responsible for a very large construction site or large building, it is likely that there will be more than one means of entry. Providing information about which entrance would give the most direct access to the emergency area would be helpful in getting the response personnel to the area of the emergency as quickly as possible if entrances are obstructed and are not easily accessible by responders. This information must be communicated to the operator. The more information you have available to give to the operator, the more efficient they can get the right kind of help to you quickly. When you call 911, in addition to the information mentioned above, you should be prepared to answer other questions, which may include the number you're calling from, the nature of the emergency, details such as a physical description of a person who may have committed a crime, a description of any fire that may be burning, or a description of injuries symptoms being experienced by a person having a medical emergency. Be prepared to follow any instructions the operator gives you. Many operators can tell you exactly what to do to help in an emergency until help arrives. Finally, do not hang up until the operator instructs you to. In case of a fire, occupants may have to be evacuated. Occupants on the fire floor and the floor above have the most threat and must be evacuated first. If the guard is responsible for helping in the evacuation, they should be calm and in control of the situation. Guards should speak in a clear manner when helping with the evacuation. Their instructions and actions play an important role in controlling panic in an emergency. Occupants should be told to be calm and move quickly to the closest exit. Guards should tell the occupants to avoid the elevators and direct them to use stairwells to exit. After the FDNY arrives, the guard should be sure to meet the responders to provide them with information regarding the nature of the emergency, its location in the building or on the construction site, and to provide the information that the responders request. 1.4.3 Manual or pull station devices. The idea of a fire alarm system is to warn the occupants to leave the premise in case of a fire or other emergency. Some fire alarm systems are activated automatically, others must be activated manually. Fire alarm systems that are manually activated use fire alarm pull stations. The manual pull stations may not directly transmit a signal to the FDNY. Phone call must always be made to 911 or the FDNY dispatcher. Don't assume that the FDNY has been called if you hear a fire alarm or smoke detector sound. Fire alarm pull stations shall be located near the exits in the protected area. They must be visible, clear, and reachable. There must be at least one manual fire alarm station on each floor of a building except residential buildings. Manual fire alarm pull stations should be of opposite color to the background on which they installed on. Approved plastic covers may be used to protect fire alarm pull stations. They help to avoid false alarms. There are two types of manual fire alarm pull stations: single action and double action stations. Single action stations need only one step to sound the alarm. The cover on these alarm stations serves as a lever. This kind of alarm station is often found indoors, for example, in office buildings. When the cover is pulled down, it sends the alarm signal. Single action stations activating a single action station. Double action stations. Double action stations require two steps. In order to activate the alarm, the user must break a glass, open a door, or lift a cover, then gain access to a switch or lever which must then be operated to initiate an alarm. To activate this type of alarm station, the cover must be lifted before the lever is pulled. This kind of double action station is often found indoors. Another kind of double action break glass station requires someone to break a small glass with a small metal mallet. Double action station. Activate a double action station. The fire guard must know how to manually work each alarm station on his site. Once activated, the fire alarm system cannot be reset at the fire alarm manual pull station. The alarm must be reset at the main FACP fire alarm control panel. The alarm may be reset only by an S95 certificate of fitness holder after being advised by a fire department representative. Once alarm is activated, a key may be needed to reset the manual pull. Station. Fire guards should become familiar with the location of all fire protection devices and fire alarm pull stations. All fire alarm pull stations installed or relocated after April 1, 1984 should be installed correctly. The handle should be about 4 feet from the floor. Pull station must be located within 5 feet from the exit doorway opening. They should never be blocked. 1.4.4 Safety requirements. Several types of safety signs may be posted at different locations inside the building. The signs are made to protect the occupants. For example, these signs may be the general behavior to be followed during a fire emergency. B. The location of fire extinguishers and emergency exits. C. How to use the fire extinguishers and related equipment. D. How to sound the fire alarm in case of an emergency. E. Banned use of elevators during fire emergency unless told by the fire department. F. The floor numbers. The fire guard should be aware of the fire safety sign requirements. Having information about the signs would help fire guard perform his work. He or she should also make sure that exit signs posted above doors are always lit. Examples of these signs are shown on the next page. Typical safety signs. Exit signs. Special exit signs. Fire extinguisher sign, elevator warning sign, no smoking sign, sprinkler sign, stair signs. Posted by outside of door, posted by door inside of stairwell. Part 2. Fire protection system and fire extinguishers. 2.1 Sprinkler system. A fire sprinkler system is a live fire protection required by FDNY rules. As required by law, all apartment buildings built after March 1999 need to have fire sprinkler systems in the building. Fire sprinklers consists of a water supply system that delivers suitable pressure and flows to a water distribution piping system. Water distribution piping system is connected to fire sprinklers. The purpose of sprinklers is to control and extinguish the fire. Sprinklers are intended to control the heat release rate of the fire. Sprinklers cool the nearby items to prevent the spread of fire. The fire dies when the burning particles disappear or after manual extinguishing. Water-reactive materials may present special risks in an area when the sprinkler system is out of service. It can't be used to extinguish fires. When sprinklers are not installed, the chances property loss because of a fire will be increased. The sprinkler system has automatic devices made to release water on a fire. These devices are called sprinkler heads. The sprinkler heads are usually closed by a disc or cap. This cap is held in place by a heat-sensitive releasing part. A rise in temperature to a preset level causes the sprinkler head to open. Water is then released in the form of spray. The term fused means that sprinkler heads opened. The sprinkler heads are built at regular intervals on the piping. If more than one head opens, the area is sprayed by each sprinkler head and spray pattern may overlap. An S12 cough holder. Supervision of citywide sprinkler system is responsible for conducting inspections and certifying system compliance with 2014-2020 seconds. NYC Fire Code. A typical fusible link type sprinkler head is shown in the picture below. A typical sprinkler head